In the Gun, episode number 84. It is time to do our weekly Big 12 Pick'em here on your new favorite WVU football podcast. I'm Wesley Euler. You are in the Gun, and I've got the best teammates in the business, the runaway beer truck, Owen Schmidt, and the signal caller, Jed Drenning. And as always, this episode of ITG brought to you in part by our friends at BetOnline, your number one source for all of your betting needs. You can get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, football, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live bets and your favorite casino and card games right on your phone. So head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE when you sign up for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV at BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, headlines here to get us started, as always, real quick before we look back at our picks from last week, what we got wrong, what we got right. Big O, you were out in Philly this weekend for a big old Kelce party, Kelce premiere. Tell us a little bit about what you had going on this past weekend, partner.
Yeah, Emily Reese had reached out to me. She was the kind of believer in getting me on board with Under Armour when I first started my career at the Senior Bowl way back when, the days when I first learned to tie my shoes. And she had gotten a hold of me, said, "Hey, Jason's throwing this premiere for his basically video of what they did last year. They basically followed him around, his family
followed him
around."
around, yeah.
Yeah, and which was completely off the cuff. I mean, you couldn't have wrote a better script, and just kind of how it all happened. And then you have the Kelce Bowl with the Super Bowl, but basically just kind of reunited with him. A bunch of BS, a bunch of good hellos and hugs and all that good stuff, and ended up going to the green carpet with him where he did all his interviews. I chugged a bunch of IPAs that were free, so I really appreciate that, dog. And really cool setup. Had a ton of media there, and a ton of old teammates that I ran into, which was so cool seeing those guys. Funny how after you're done playing in the league, some guys get bigger, some guys get smaller. uh just the natural thing of life, but it was so awesome seeing everybody. I got to see some of the cats he's playing with today, and then we watched the movie, and I mean, if you didn't have goosebumps at some point in that, or you didn't shed a tear, you probably didn't have a soul. I mean, it was an absolutely one of a kind movie that I definitely suggest everybody has to at least check out. If you're a football fan in general, or a fan of a dad with three girls, or a family, or whatever, I mean, if you're a fan of that, you got to check it out. It's absolutely a slammer of a movie, and
What's the name of
it's
it?
called Kelce. Huh?
Kelce.
The name of the movie?
Kelce.
Kelsey. Okay.
Yeah, Amazon.
And I was
It's
going to say it's
Amazon
Amazon Prime Video, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So super cool, man. I mean, definitely check it out if you can. And then met up with one of my old cronies from Delco, and Kyle Manchin. We did the premiere, got some swag left, ate a steak, and by midnight we were in bed because we're old.
You remember the pictures you sent us in the group thread?
Oh yeah,
I'm going back through the pictures. Walk us through, because we're going to put some of those up. Schuyler's going to post them for the people on YouTube watching.
Yeah,
How
I tried to give
about
a
those
timeline of
pythons
like
he's got
what.
on his feet?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I was the best dressed, but I was definitely pretty sharp. Had the old Python skins on. It was a jean casual, Pythons with the old Wrangler
Classic.
shirt on there with a nice little hat. Looked pretty sharp. Even trimmed the old beard up a little bit, and I got some good picks of friends. Just kind of the setups they had there. They had some really cool quotes that he had. Hungry dogs run faster. That quote with "He's in the Mummers Day Parade, get up." You know what I mean? And his epic speech that he gave to the city of Philly when they won the Super Bowl and came back for the parade. And then just some cool stuff. They had some cheerleaders there. Like I said, some old teammates, some cool Thursday night prime time football, like boards with a bunch of footballs and stuff on there. It was really neat. And like I said, I'm not a huge picture guy. Like I do like having pictures for those memories, but I always just get caught up in the moment, and I just kind of like live the vibe and have a good time. So what you got was, what I consciously was thinking about taking a picture, I guess, at the time. But for the most part, I was just hanging out with everybody and reminiscing about the good old days.
It looks like a big time event. It really does.
Awesome.
I mean, you can't help
Oh,
but
dude, it
smile
was.
looking at those
I'm
pictures.
telling you right now, it was packed. There was, I mean, the coach was there. I mean,
Sirianni.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sirianni was there, dude. I mean, he was there. I mean, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
awesome.
Like, bunch of the
Big O, where
bunch of
was it? Like, where was the premiere at?
it was at like the Susan something theater. It was
Okay.
downtown Philly.
Gotcha.
Dude, it was awesome. It was a big theater, and I'm telling you, there wasn't an empty seat in the house.
That's great.
You had Amazon people there. I think there was some NFL like videography people. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, the seating charts and all this crazy stuff. I mean, I was like,
That's
man,
awesome.
this is cool.
Yeah,
It was
Kelce's royalty in Philadelphia, man. I mean, you guys know I worked there for 3 years. I worked for the Eagles radio network. I was part of, that. I mean, I say part of, like I was part of the broadcast crew for that Eagles Super Bowl for them, finally getting over that hump. And Owen, you referenced that epic speech, Kelce wearing the big mummers outfit, which for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, it kind of looks like if the Pope tried to dress up to go to a Grateful Dead concert. Like that's kind of what the mummers outfit looks like. It almost looks like a Pope outfit, but all colorful and bedazzled and everything.
Is that the picture we're looking at?
And is there one of those pictures of Kelce with the hungry dogs?
It's a
hungry
picture of a
dogs run
picture.
faster.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he gave that epic speech where, I mean, he had a couple soda pops himself before he gave that speech, and talking about how, everyone doubted us when Carson Wentz went down, and they said Lane Johnson wasn't good enough, and they said Brandon Brooks had anxiety, and he runs through the whole offensive line and all the knocks against him, and why everybody thought they were gonna, and he's pounding the table, and he's wearing this big goofy outfit, and he's losing his voice, and it's one of the great parade moments in the history of sports. If you haven't seen it, just go on YouTube and search, Jason Kelce Super Bowl parade, and it'll be easy to find. But that's pretty darn cool, Big O. Glad you got to do that.
Jason and Travis, they have a pretty wicked podcast, and they have for some time now. It's really taken off, hasn't it, Big O?
Oh, dude, New Heights is off the charts, dude. I mean, they got like 800K subscribers. I mean, their stuff's blowing up.
If they play their cards right,
get on there.
We'll work them into rotation as a guest in the off season. If they play their cards,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, man, we'd love to have you on there. We'll talk about the being the wedge before it was illegal. Illegal.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's called the Owen Schmidt rule.
On that.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, great stuff. Again, if you watching on our YouTube page, you'll see some of those pictures that Schuyler will throw up of Owen out there, getting some nostalgia going and some good Philly memories. Gotta love it. Great stuff there for Big O. Glad that you got to be a part of that. That's pretty darn cool. All right, gentlemen. A look back here first at how we did last week, but another thank you to our friends at Fortis for roof performance and financial security guaranteed. Make sure you visit fortis.us.com. Our buddy Schuyler will pull up the standings right now. And Jed, how we doing here after 2 weeks?
Well, we're going to look at last week's picks. And now remember, I've been having some internet issues this week. And I get
so if Jed falls off here, I mean,
it might happen right here in a minute.
It's not because of his standings.
It might happen here in a minute. Okay, I picked the offense to throw for the most yards in the Big 12 last weekend. I picked Oklahoma. So number one in the Big 12 was actually Texas, who I said, no way I'm picking that at Alabama. Well, they threw for the most, 349. BYU, who really didn't, throw the ball at all in their opener, threw for 348 to get right through the air. WVU came in at number 3, combination of Garrett and Nico with 315 yards. Number 4, TCU with 313. Number 5 in the loss to Oregon, 282 yards by Texas Tech. Now, again, the way we do our scoring If you hit number 1, that's 7 points. If you finish in the top 5, you get awarded something based on where you finish. But if you don't, you get awarded a big 0, which is what I get. I was 13th out of 14 teams. The lowest total, even counting last year, that I've guessed. So I get nothing. I told myself as I was going through and checking the stats, I was like, if I'm 14th, I'm docking myself a point. I'm making a rule that if you're 14th, you lose a point. Well, I didn't. I was 13th, but barely. I was saved by Cincinnati running all over Pitt instead of throwing it. So yeah, I picked Oklahoma after their strong week 1 performance through the air, and they came out and threw for the fewest yards they've had in a non-conference game in 5 years. They threw over the last 9 years. The only times they've had fewer yards were against Army when they had the ball for 15 minutes, West Virginia in the snow, and when they got boat raced by Clemson in the Russell Athletic Bowl. Other than that, they've eclipsed that every week, but I cursed them. But I have a new formula we're going to get to after the break when I make my pick. So, Owen, you picked to run for the most yards, and normally I'm cheering against the team you pick. But this time I didn't. You picked West Virginia against Duquesne, and boy, the Mountaineers did. 304 total yards. Everybody pitched in, a collective effort. Yep. So you hit, and you get the full money, the 7 points for finishing first, just for posterity's sake. Kansas came in at number 2, a distant number 2 at 262, but against a really good Illinois defense. And UCF with 258 on the blue Smurf turf at Boise. So those are the top 3, but Owen, you hit it. So you get the big 7. So you were shut out last week, 7 this week, so you're up to 7 on the total standings. Now here we go. Wes, defense of the week. The defense to allow, I should say, the fewest points in the Big 12. You hit it last week. You were the only one to do so. You hit it this week by picking TCU against Nichols.
Man, that was a real I really went out on a limb on that one.
Well, again, it's not as easy as you say, because there's a couple of these mismatches, but TCU held Nicholls State in a blowout win to 6 points. So once again, you get the full money, 7 points. And actually, number 2 in the Big 12 was Oklahoma against SMU. They allowed 11. So by a pretty clear margin, you won. Schuyler, look at Schuyler getting hot at the right time here to get things rolling early in the season. He picks the offense in the Big 12 that will score the most points. He picked our Mountaineers against those Dukes. And again, I'm usually cheering against you guys for transparency's sake, but when you pick the Mountaineers, I'm obviously not. So he wins. He picks West Virginia against Duquesne. They led all scorers offensively. 56 points the Mountaineers dropped on Duquesne, actually by a couple touchdowns, because the second highest point total by a Big 12 team this week was K-State in a blowout of Troy with 42. So hats off to all 3 of you. Great job by everybody except me.
Well,
don't be salty.
Jed, listen, it's early in the season, partner. All right.
I don't need a lecture.
A lot of snaps left, a lot of plays.
I don't need a pep talk. Don't condescend. Don't be Penn State and score with 6 seconds left. Don't be Penn State and take a knee. Go ahead and score with 6 seconds left.
Man, I can really tell those talks with Phil are helping you.
They are helping me.
Yeah, Jed gets the access to the biggest encyclopedia here.
The problem is our picks come before I talk to Phil. That's the issue.
That's a good point.
I should shoot Phil a text and say, "Hey, what you got this week?"
After this, Owen, if he struggles again this week, he's going to start moving Phil up to Mondays on the show.
Well, again, wait till you see my new approach.
Well, we will see. We will see Jed's new approach after the break here.
Picked us to win by 39 points last week on the podcast with me and Schuyler.
Jed, when you got it, you got it, baby. Wow. When you're hot, you're hot. All right. Kind of like picking the back-to-back defense of the week. When you're hot, you're hot.
Listen to this. Schuyler, somebody in position to do so needs to talk back. Owen, talk back. I can't say a word. I got to sit here and take it. I got to sit here and take it.
Well, you know what, Jed? I'm excited to see this new formula here.
I might.
Yeah, I hope it works.
I might.
Hope it works.
Don't just be honest. Don't lie.
So we're gonna take a break.
You don't have to lie to make friends. We like you.
We're gonna take a break here. On the other side, we'll make our picks for this week. We'll see what trick Jed has up his sleeve to claw back into this competition here as we continue to roll throughout the regular season. More Big 12 picks, pick'em predictions, calling our shot on the other side. This is ITG.
Nobody supports the blue and gold Mountaineers like Toothman Ford. With over 20 NIL deals and counting, Toothman Ford continues to rally behind our student athletes. And it's time we rally and support the dealer that supports the Mountaineers. Not only does Toothman Ford offer the best prices in the state on pre-owned, their never over MSRP campaign on new Fords guaranteed to save you thousands. Drive with pride all season long, knowing you're supporting the dealer that fuels our Mountaineers. Toothman Ford, where cars cost less, in Grafton and at toothmanford.com.
For more West Virginia Mountaineer football content, be sure to follow us on Twitter at In the Gun Podcast.
For nearly 20 years, Fortis has been the nation's leader in providing guaranteed roof performance programs for commercial buildings. Fortis offers roof performance solutions that feature extensive initial and ongoing reconditioning for commercial buildings as an alternative to traditional replacement, with long-term performance guarantees that are backed by global leader Lloyd's of London. Fortis offers a comprehensive range of roof performance management programs that provide financial security, extend the life of our customers' roofs, and make a significant impact on ROI. Fortis is currently improving performance and increasing ROI for customers at more than 4,800 locations, with more than 140 million square feet protected, including many Fortune 500 companies that have turned to Fortis to save money, gain financial certainty, and extend the life of their existing roofs. Fortis has helped customers save more than $520 million in capital roof replacement costs for an average ROI of over 250%. To learn more, visit fortis.us.com. Fortis, roof performance and financial certainty guaranteed.
Let's go, Mountaineer fans. You're tuned in to In the Gun with Wes, the Runaway Beer Truck, and the Signal Caller.
Back in the gun here, it's time to make our weekly Big 12 predictions. Jed, you've got us all waiting with bated breath. We're on pens and needles here, all right? So explain to us your formula and your pick for this week 3 action.
All right, what I'm going to do, again, I've come up with a process that I think is infallible. All right. I subscribe to a new analytics data set. I've combined that with a formula with all the other analytics that I use, in consideration of both home and away results, and consideration of the matchups, the strength and weaknesses of the opponent. What I'm going to do is this. I've got one of our trusty ITG trucker hats, and I've got all 14 names from the Big 12 in it. So I'm going to shake it up. For those on YouTube, you see me shaking it up. Otherwise, you're going to have to listen, and I am going to blind myself and just grab one. And then I'll see who they play. Let's see here. Dig, dig, dig. The offense that will throw. Please don't be Iowa State. Please don't be Iowa State. The offense that will throw for the most yards in the Big 12 this week is, I'll take it, baby, WVU.
Ooh.
I like it.
Boy.
I like it. Yes.
Let's go.
I
Jed,
told you it
I
was
hope
an
you win.
infallible process.
I hope you win. I hope you win, partner. All right. I'm rooting for you hard this week. I
Wait
love
till you
it.
hear our preview. Now I'll have reasons that I might win. Go ahead.
There we go.
I like it already.
Jed, of course, the signal caller picks the offense that's going to throw for the most yards every single week. This week, he's rolling with the good guys, the Mountaineers.
Is that an omen?
That's an omen. I love it.
I'm telling you, I didn't put double anything. There's one of all 14.
Jed, hold on to that little piece of paper
Right
that
there,
says
baby.
WVU. All right.
It's going to my desk drawer.
Saturday night, keep that in your pocket. All right. Because after we win post game, me, you, and Owen are going to take, and Schuyler's going to be there too. All 4 of us are going to take a picture, and you're going to be holding that little piece of paper in the picture.
Can you read that?
I sure can. W.
All right.
V-U. Love it. Owen every week gives us the beer truck team of the week in the Big 12. Which team is going to rush for the most yards this week, week 3 in college football? Who you got, Big O?
I got KU. I think Devin Neal, he's already got 2 and some change on the ground.
214.
Nevada has been struggling. So I think they're gonna slice and dice.
Good pick.
It's a good pick by you, Devin Neal. He did say he had a couple solid performances, solid picks for you last year. I like your reasoning too. Nevada's really struggled. That feels like one that is ripe for the picking.
Illinois is salty on defense, and they just carved those boys up. You know?
Yeah, and now that the rules have changed a little bit, it's just the most rushing yards because
Yes.
We got
Athletic quarterback, yeah.
I mean, he's got some wheels too, son. We might see a little bit of magic in Nevada.
All right, good pick.
Well, sticking with that game as well, too, our guy Schuyler, he picks the Big 12 offense of the week, who's going to score the most points in the conference. He is going with Kansas as well, too, out there in the desert against Nevada. So we'll see if the Jayhawks can take care of business, get that one rolling early there.
Wes, after your pick, we have to double back and revisit our Iowa point total picks to wrap that up.
Oh, geez, I forgot all about that.
I got it.
I don't even.
Go ahead and make your pick first. I got it.
My pick, real simple. My pick, real simple this week. I'm going with Baylor. Baylor is back at home against Long Island University. The Bears have struggled. They've had two frustrating losses, right? 0-2 to start the season. Long Island University 0-2 as well. Not very good. We saw them in Morgantown a couple years ago. We saw the Mountaineers put up a ton of points. I think Baylor is going to do the same. A battle of 0-2 teams down there in Waco. But I think Baylor, they're going to want to get that nasty taste out of their mouth from those first two games. They're going to take it out on poor LIU. And so I've got the Baylor defense shutting them boys down, putting up a lot of points. It's going to be 63-3 or something like that. So I will take Baylor as my Big 12 defense of the week because I think they're going to run riot on Long Island University.
Schuyler,
so there you go.
Hit me with a text of, or just pop right in, whatever you want to do with Wes's point total pick last week. I have the other three, but the final score last week in the Cyclone Bowl was a shootout. We picked the point total. Okay, I'll give the final score at the end here. But Owen, you picked 36 total points, which was right about at the over-under.
All you guys laughed at me.
I picked 30. Schuyler, I remember, texted me and said 7. And then he said, just kidding, 23. But I didn't know he was serious or not. I thought he might be. So I have 3 of the 4. So, Wes, what was your pick? Was it 26?
24, yeah, something like that. I'm honestly, I'm drawing a blank. We make so many different picks and predictions.
Well, Schuyler thought you had 27. I thought you had 26. Okay. I thought I had it written down, but I'm disordered.
I think I went 27. I think I said the 17-10, so I think 27 sounds right. Yeah.
Well, the final score, drum roll, please.
Brrr.
Iowa 20, Iowa State 13, point total 33. So the question is, do Price is Right rules apply? Like they did,
I just like I like closest personally.
Well, then I won the Penn State attendance game.
In my mind, you did, but you were the one who went with Price. You were the one who went with the Price is Right rule. Listen, I'm not Bob Barker here. All right, I mean,
all right. Well, Owen and I tied then. All right. In the ITG Cup, we tied.
Jed, close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades, and in these types of exercises that we do here on the program.
Okay.
So Jed and Owen tied there. I'll take it. Listen, if you want to go Bob Barker rules, we can.
But I'll tell you what, that was 20-13 was a shootout.
For them, that is.
Wow,
heck yeah, 33 points. That's probably more than they've had in the last 2 Cyhawk Bowls combined.
That was quite a shootout. I mean, you're looking at, here's a couple numbers out of that game. 123 yards passing for Iowa.
Wow, getting
our
crazy.
Boy Rocco Beck, Anthony's boy, threw for 203. He was 23 of 44. Iowa State couldn't run the ball. They ran for 87 yards, 2.8 a carry. Iowa ran for 112, 3.9 a carry. So, yeah, they took football back about 60 years.
That's the way they like it out there in Iowa. I tell you what, absolutely. So there's our recap, our picks for this week. Obviously, as we go along, we'll continue to update the standings, all these different things. As always, if you want to get involved in the comments and our mentions, you know where to find us if you want to give some predictions as well too, folks. It is Pitt week. Oh baby, it's Brawl week. It's time to beat Pitt. We've got some good stuff lined up for you. We will obviously have Phil Steele this week, giving some thoughts on some other big games around the college football landscape, and of course the Backyard Brawl. And then later on in the week, we will have our full Brawl preview dropping for you. I can't wait for this one. There's going to be some great breakdowns by Jed. There's going to be some great hype by Owen. I'm going to say a lot of mean, nasty things about Pat Narduzzi and those turtleneck-wearing dorks in the suburb of Pittsburgh known as Oakland. I cannot wait to get to that game, to get to our preview. So a lot coming to you this week. Guys, you'll laugh at this. As we're recording this episode right now, I got a tweet here from Campaign Football, who just tweeted and said, Wes, wear the hat all week. Narduzzi can get lost. So Campaign Football is ready to roll out there for sure. But that'll do it for us this week. The last thing that we ask of you, as always, is to be an ear and tell an ear about your new favorite WVU football podcast. For Jed Drenning and the beer truck Owen Schmidt, a big thanks to our guy Schuyler as well too. I'm Wesley Euler. It's getting ramped up, folks. It's Brawl week. You know where to find it, as we'll be breaking it down for you all week here. Thanks for listening. We'll talk soon. You've been in the gun.